It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ. On demand, even if you're on the can.
Dude, come on.
So if you find yourself being a woman and trying some DIY stuff, just pump the brakes for a second. We'll tell you why a little bit later on in the podcast. Let's go. In 2024, I expected this to not be a conversation anymore, to be honest with you.
I thought it was really weird. There was a live debate, and then the news that we watch in the morning was covering it too, and I just thought, listen, it's everywhere. People are still talking about it. Breastfeeding in public, is it appropriate? Agree or disagree? 25% agreed that it was appropriate. Disagreeing, though, 71% of people out there think that you should find a private place to breastfeed. There's a funny picture that is out where it says cover up. No one wants to see that. And so there's this woman, she has both breasts out and she covered her face.
That's funny.
Cover up. Nobody wants to see that. But I just think, I don't know, people are sexualizing breastfeeding, which is the oddest thing to do. I wish I could have. I really wanted to do it. Didn't work in my favor, so I pumped. But I mean,
how do you feel about this?
Oh, I think it's just asinine. I think to even shame a mom for sitting there to breastfeed her child, to soothe the child, get the baby to sleep or nourish a baby. It's so odd that you would walk up to a mom and say, you need to cover up. Most moms, I think, would. I don't think I see a lot of people if I go to Nickelodeon Universe with their breasts out, but I surely would expect my child to not react at 11 years old like a lot of these grown men and even grown women do. I thought it was a really weird poll.
I think the part that gets messy is that if you decide to whip your boob out and feed your kid,
yeah,
you got to understand that someone's going to look. It's the same as if I just wore one shoe today.
Uh-huh.
And then I got offended that somebody was looking at my foot.
There's a complete difference from somebody looking and seeing your breast out. And yeah, you should expect some people to be like, oh my God.
There's going to be some looky-loos no matter what. Now, if you're okay with that, then I have no problem with you breastfeeding a child if they need nourishment.
Is showing the breasts and then someone actually taking it upon themselves to say something about your breast being out. If someone's looking, they're going to look. They're boobs.
Hey, Melissa, I want to get your thoughts on this.
I honestly feel like when I was breastfeeding, I always found a time and a place to do it in private. I'm not super, outgoing in public with my body in general, but I'm also not ashamed. I just feel like I could always find a private time and a private place to do it, that there's really no need to have to do it in public.
So even if your baby was hungry and crying and screaming because maybe they didn't get enough before you left the house, what would you have done in that scenario? Would you have gone somewhere private, tried to shield yourself like you were that modest?
Yeah, I would get after it in public in a very, classy kind of way where I don't have to be completely out. If I had to do it, I'll go find a corner, a blanket, something of the sort, and I don't, need to display the entire feeding. You know,
I get you. And I appreciate your call. How do other countries treat this? By the way, is breastfeeding in public? If you go to Paris, can you be standing there taking a picture of the Eiffel Tower and somebody's breastfeeding their kid? Is this what's the level of acceptance in other countries?
I truly think we are so behind that it's painful.
Really, if you go to Spain, you think there's people breastfeeding on the street? It's nobody cares?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Breastfeeding around the world. I think that would be an interesting rabbit hole to go.
You go to Antigua and there's just people breasts out all over the place.
Who cares which countries breastfeed the most? Oh, that's just a fact. But whatever. You go to Nigeria, where most tribes don't even wear shirts. Women are celebrated. Their breasts are celebrated in a non-sexual way. And they know that these breasts are there to nourish their babies. So if you're walking around today or find yourself feeling compelled to comment on a woman who's
take your shirt
baby,
off.
Take your shirt off, sit next to them, and have a boob off.
You are
better.
You are the hero every woman didn't know they needed. I'm very surprised at how much reaction we're getting. And how many people are texting in, keep this at home. There's no place for this in public.
Yeah, that is crazy. They're part of the
bananas to me.
71% that did that live poll where they said, how do you feel about breastfeeding? Disagree with it being appropriate? Do you agree? And 71%, they disagree with having people breastfeed in public. Nadine says, I'm breastfeeding and I'm traveling to Germany twice since unreal, the numbers in the U.S. What do you think we do during an 8-hour flight? Feed that baby. Everyone on the plane will appreciate it. And then this one, Eric says, I can't believe breastfeeding in public is such an issue. I view it as you got to do what you got to do. That is where that term was coined and made for. You got to do what you got to do. You have a crying baby, a hungry baby. What do? You just feed it.
Feed it. Shelly, how are you?
Shelly.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Katie. Katie. I'm sorry. I got the wrong person. Katie, how are you?
That's okay. I'm good. So I was kind of on that other end prior to breastfeeding. And then once you start breastfeeding, you just eventually are just like, screw this. I'm always isolating myself to go feed my baby in private, and everyone else gets to go have fun. So then you start to not want to do that, but you're like, no, this is what's best for the kid. So that mom probably was like, screw that. I want to have fun and enjoy being with my kids or whoever she was with and still be able to meet the needs of further kids. So I'm pro whatever. I think it needs to be more normalized. And yes, I agree. Like, people will look and they will probably make a comment, but that mom just needs to stand by what she thinks is best. So
I think with the amount of even like the little swaddlers and the cover-ups and everything like that, I just think, like, if you're going to be super modest about this, you have a lot of options. If you just want to let it all hang out, you got that option too. I just think it's so weird that we're, at a point of criminalizing feeding your child. That to me is like, it's one of the basic human instincts is to get this baby some nourishment, and you can be like literally prosecuted for it. That's bananas to me.
On the tip of you talking about all the products that are out there to cover yourself up, it's true. But one woman said that she just thinks that women are out for attention if your chest is out, because there are a lot of things that you could bring along to cover yourself up and still breastfeed in public, which is true and would probably be the route I would go. I don't really think I would want my breasts out, but I mean, I don't know.
In my defense to that, though, when you are in a Minnesota summer, you're not going to cover that kid up.
Yes. Yep. No, I agree.
We get 4 days of nice weather. You're going to let them hang, right?
They get so hot under there. Yeah.
Or whatever. But when you're outside, it's like, no, I'm not going to let this kid overheat because that's not worth it.
Because you're uncomfortable. I gotcha.
Katie, appreciate your thoughts this morning. Hope you have a really great day today.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bingo! How fun!
Last week, someone lost an eye at bingo. Bingo!
Bingo what bingo?
Bingo! Bingo! So who gets the bingo this morning? Will it be Kat or myself? But first, you've got to get ready to call, because only the first person through will get to tell their story. Maybe you're somebody listening who
has been a part of a Make-A-Wish. So maybe you made the wish happen, you helped, you were there, you videotaped, you were there for the excitement. But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson does these all the time. The latest was for a 2-year-old with a brain disorder and loves Moana. Who doesn't?
Fill your sails and shake your tree. Come on, Naomi, what can I say except you're welcome?
So cute.
Well, that islands I pulled from the sea. You're welcome. Come on, Naomi, this is for you, honey.
So all he wanted to do was just make her smile a little bit, all part of her Make-A-Wish. So you've been a part of one.
Mine is going to be anyone listening who found a deal that was almost too good to be true. So my wife and I, we put our properties up for sale. We're consolidating. We're moving. And with our new property, I'm going to need a riding lawnmower. It's a couple of acres, and I've got to cover this. So started kind of shopping. And yesterday I was on Facebook Marketplace, and I found a 0-turn 2-year-old lawnmower that they said had nothing wrong with it, and they were selling it for $250.
Okay.
Which is an enormous deal. And by the time I notified the person, it had already sold. But I was just asking, I'm like, why was this so cheap? She's like, I just got divorced. My husband left it behind. I don't want it.
Just
and
wants
I was
to
like,
clear it all out.
dang, like that could have almost been like the biggest, greatest deal of my life, because this thing has got to be 3 or 4 grand the way it was, but she just wanted it out of her garage today, so she took $250 for it. And I was like, oh, but I've never been part of one of those deals that are too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm looking for. You found a deal and were part of it, and it was way too good to be true. Or maybe you're somebody listening who
was a part of a Make-A-Wish.
So who's going to get the bingo here this morning, Veronica, Kat, or myself? Which one do you fit?
I fit both of them.
All right. Well, let's start with your Make-A-Wish. I'm very interested in this. How were you part of one?
I nominated my 9-year-old niece because she had a stage 4 glioblastoma. They took her on a Disney cruise.
Wow, amazing! And what was the process like? Was that a long process to get this going, or were they pretty quick about it?
I gave my story and had to give them a couple bits of information. I had to get permission first to share their stuff with Make-A-Wish, and then they contacted the family and did all that stuff from there. So,
well, that's really cool. You got the ball rolling. I mean, it's important to anybody in a situation like that, especially a child. That's a lot to handle. So to take it off their mind just even for a brief moment, it's important.
You're good on.
She did eventually pass away. So it was nice they had a last family trip.
Absolutely.
Tell me about the really great deal, something we won't even believe.
Well, my husband goes to auctions a lot, and he's always the guy that the auctioneer looks at. Does anybody want this? Nobody wants it. He takes it for $1.
Oh.
And we got a box of stuff for $1, and of course I'm mad because it's filling up the garage. But inside was this old antique erector set.
Oh, no way!
So
like the original one.
There's always treasures. What's that?
Are most of those boxes just full of old Playboys, though?
No, junk. It's pure junk.
Just crap.
So then what does he do with it? I would be so mad. I'd be like, what is this?
Well, you never know when you might need this or that. Or,
Oh, he's a never knower. Okay. Those are trouble.
And you know, one day there's going to be an auction with all of his crap, and the auctioneer is going to be looking for somebody that was just like him.
Yeah, we talk about that. Like, I'm going to be a millionaire when he passes away.
Well, and now that you said it on the radio, it's you're under surveillance automatically if he goes early. You know that, right?
Right.
All right. Way to incriminate yourself. I appreciate you being on the show. Have a great morning.
Yeah, you too.
How many people listening to that right now are thinking about their husband and the crap that they've accumulated from auctions and stuff like that?
Listening to her gave me such anxiety. Just after what we went through last summer with purging our whole, crawl space and garage. Oh, it just felt so good. I'm like, I will not bring anything into my home that I don't know that I'm going to use completely.
The problem is when you have storage space, you feel like you almost have to use it up.
No,
so you don't mind grabbing boxes of crap at auctions for $1.
So Derek did another video for TikTok yesterday. I come home and he had 7 bins out, wigs strewn about our basement living room. And I just for a moment, I'm like, I wonder if he would divorce me if
you threw them all out,
lit it all on fire.
It would be a couple of weeks. I don't think he'd up and leave.
He would never.
He needs you.
Let it go.
But I think you would hold a grudge for a long, long time. I don't think you want to dip your toe into that water.
That'd be really mean of me to do, but it's there's so many costumes. I can't even tell you. It's awful.
How many bins?
That was just those were the 7 that are up front in the crawl space. He can get back there and probably find 5 more. Bins. These aren't little bags.
Big plastic
bins.
That's giving me anxiety.
Yes.
I want you to think back to when you were 7 years old.
Man, a lifetime ago.
Who was your best friend? What was their name?
So I had 2 lives I was living when I was 7. Half was in Guam. And then I moved back home to the U.S. when I was 7 as well.
Do you remember any of your Chumaran friends?
So Boomer LeGrand.
Okay.
Still in contact with him on Facebook. He actually messaged me the other day that there was a memory that popped up. We were rollerblading by the ocean. He just found out he has MS. He lives on the beach in Florida somewhere, a coast. And that's about it. Posts a lot of very inappropriate things every single day.
All right, he's one of those.
But then my other half of my 7-year-old life, that's when I moved back home. And I would say, I'll just pick a random one, like Kelly. I know what she's doing. Just went to her wedding a couple of years ago.
Right on then.
And Yeah, I don't know. I do not, and I feel bad, but like I'm okay at the same time that I don't have constant contact with those people.
As I was thinking about this before we got on the air this morning, I reached out to my childhood best friend. His name was Sam.
Okay.
And right now, I found him on Facebook, and I shot him a quick message. There is, I think, zero chance he would, first off, recognize me. Number two, like our lives went in completely different directions. We lived right next door to each other, spent every waking minute together because we lived on the same block. And he, when he was like 8 or 9, moved away with his family, and his dad bought this giant dairy farm in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And that became their lives. So right now, when I look him up, he helps with a place called Hope Farm School. Their mission is to discipline, train, and educate young men in the spirit of Jesus Christ, along with farming. So that's kind of the way his life went. Now, I looked a little bit deeper, right? Because, Facebook will let you look at pictures. Mm-hmm. He's got 3 little boys, and they are all the spitting image of young Sam.
Yeah.
Like, it's looking like in a time capsule for me.
So you found the right one, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So the thing is, maybe he doesn't recognize you by your photos because you were a little bit of an odd looking kid. But like I would say, you don't forget people from that era of your life.
My favorite thing about this kid is, you know how some kids are really good at talking to adults?
Yeah.
He was the worst. And
he'd cower or what?
No, he had a go-to, right? He just wasn't good with it. And I remember my dad would laugh like to the point where he would like spit beer out of his mouth. Uh-huh. It would be a knee slapper. But every time we'd come into our house, my dad would go, "Hey, Sam, how are you?" "Fine." He would just always say fine. Never anything but fine. Yeah. To the point where my dad would try and screw him up and he'd go, "Hi, Sam, fine." Like that's how he would reply to everything.
Okay.
And my mom would be like, "Sam, how's your mom?" "Fine." "Sam, what are you guys doing today?" "Fine." Like that was his go-to for everything. That is like a core little kid memory for me.
I think he'll remember. That'd be really cool if he called. That'd be crazy.
So I threw it up on the KCLD Facebook page. Do you remember your 7-year-old best friend? The cool part about this is I was asking everyone to tag that person if you still are in contact or if you can find them on Facebook. This could be kind of a cool thing if you could go back and maybe you live close still. I would guess that if you live in a smaller city, that 7-year-old best friend is probably still around. And maybe you see him at Easter church. Maybe you go hook up for a beer.
Yeah.
Maybe your family knows their family. Maybe there's some kind of a connection.
Maybe you're married to them.
Yeah, maybe.
Those weird stories.
If you grew up in a really little town, there's probably a pretty decent chance that if you had, somebody as you grow up, all of a sudden you're like, whoa, look at them. And maybe you're dating them as the best friend. But do you remember your 7-year-old bestie? If so, are you still in contact?
So this divides my household. I am the only one in the house that loves drinks so cold that you hurt. My teeth hurt. My head hurt. I need to have my drinks ice cold.
Room temperature drinks are far superior than drinks from a fridge.
I'm not like harshly opinionated, but there's something really good about like you wake up in the middle of the night, you get up for a glass of water. It's a cold glass of water.
It depends on the drink, I'd say, Chris. A beer, for example.
A warm
beer?
Oh, yeah, beer out of a bottle when it's not been in the fridge. Yes, please.
Come on.
Yeah.
So Derek and Liam both love room temperature. Like our house, have you ever seen signs where there's water cups everywhere?
Yeah.
That's our house. And those are their drinks. So whether it's juice, milk, I think is the only one that they enjoy cold, but soda room temperature, tea room temperature.
That's so odd to me.
Water. It just like is always like that. I don't know.
We burn through so much ice at our place because everybody's got to have something cold.
I love ice so much. I was going to buy yesterday one of those countertop ice machines for our bar area, which we never use. But I'm like, what if I'm down there and need ice? Like, I love cold drinks. So I just thought we should take a poll real quick. If you can safely text, not while you're driving, just text cold or room temperature.
I can't think of one thing I like at room temperature.
Really, like this is cold, but my coffee, but still, I'm going to go add ice to it. It's just not cold enough.
I think warm, I'll drink coffee or tea.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, everything else has to have ice in it. There's times that I get in panic mode. Like I will, before I leave the house in the morning, I'll fill my gym thermos with ice so that when I fill it with water when I get to the gym, it's ice water.
Yes.
Like, if that was just regular cool water, I don't know if I'd function very well.
And I can't pander. My kid is always like, I'll bring him an ice water and he'll just look at me like, why did you add ice? And then I'll have to go dump it out, fill it up with regular water. So what do you prefer? Because it's kind of dividing the masses this morning. Room temperature or
hard hitting things.
Yes.
Up early at 7:20 Thursday morning. Why? Well, $4,000 sits right in front of us, and if you want that cash, got to be here for the live show at 7:20 Thursday. Right now, let's put a wrap on the podcast.
I want to hear from all my DIY girls. Where you at? Because I'm feeling like the power. When I go on HomeDepot.com, I get like, I don't know what comes over me. I feel like I can do these jobs.
What are you going to do now?
California closet in the basement.
By yourself? Not a freaking chance.
Bedroom. Why?
I will.
That is so rude.
I will
You're
put $100 on this right now.
Do it. That'll pay for half of my California closet.
Don't get it done by yourself. There is no way.
Why?
You could put together a California closet on your own. You don't have the skill set. It's the same as me trying to fix my car. I can't do it.
You're literally so rude.
I can't. You're never going to pull this off.
I will. And now when you say that stuff, puts more fire behind me. And so I have to pick up that. And the tool chest that I was talking to you about yesterday, how I was going to use my 20% off. I did. Went online and bought $500 worth of stuff. So I got the tool chest, and then it's not an elaborate California closet, but it does have levels because right now there's nothing in it. There's not even like I hate you.
You're never
for not having any. You're not throwing any support at me. That's not the right thing to do. I'm a woman in your life every single day almost. You want me happy, but that is one of my projects that I'm going to tackle.
I spit the truth.
And I want to surprise Derek. I found all the studs. I know what I have to screw into. I did all of Liam's upgrades in his room. Why can't I do this? Of course I could do this. There are women out there that do amazing DIY projects. What's stopping you from putting them down? You don't even know
They're not here right now.
Wow. So I just know that, yes, I probably will get frustrated. Do I want to call and have somebody do it for me? Yes. But
will you?
I'm going to show myself that I can do it. I want to talk to women out there that have just done a DIY project. How did it go? Did you overcome some obstacles?
How long before a dude had to bail you out?
Did you have a JJ in your life, a naysayer that just made you want to do it more? But I'm going to do it. And I know I'm going to be proud of myself. And then if I do that, then I'm going to do the upstairs entryway closet for all my shoes too. God, I feel like a new woman. Truly. I will make sure I post them so I can rub it in your face. But I will also gladly take that $100 if you are a woman that does DIY projects. My plan is to have it done by next weekend.
Never.
This next weekend is super busy.
Never.
The following weekend, I'm going to do it. I will. Shout out to Kayla, by the way, says I can't call, but damn, JJ, have some faith. Kat, you got this. I'm a single mom remodeling my whole house alone. Good for you, Kayla. I need to see some of the pics that you have accomplished around the house. What did you do? One woman put in like a shiplap mud room. She had just like this weird wall.
Pretty impressive for a woman to be able to do something like that.
I know the fact that you can't look at me in my eyes that you don't mean this stuff. I know you say
you're the one that said one woman. Why wasn't it just one person?
I am going to tackle this project in my basement, and it's going to give me one of those moments of like, you got this, girl. You can do just about anything. I'd love to
Why do you have to
my...
tell yourself that? Why do you have to say it out loud?
You do that too.
I do not. Listen,
yes, when you had to lay your floors, I'm sure you're like,
I didn't.
I got this. You had to watch YouTube videos.
I got the floors and I put them in. I never once looked in the mirror and went, you got this, boy. You're going to be great. You can do whatever they say you can't do.
It'll be internal thoughts.
Never
I'm not
once
say
did
it
I do
loud,
that.
But I do have plans to do a California closet. Went and picked up all of the stuff, and I'm ready to go.
You will return that immediately.
No, I won't.
You're beyond your skill set.
I need to get this done. It is an area that is unutilized, and it will only benefit my life when things are organized in there. So,
Lindsay, I'm proud of you, Kat. I admire your gumption.
Thanks, Lindsay. You can do it. I love that. And then you know what?
You got to have a cheer squad to get your California.
I'm going to put a bandana on my head, and I'm going to do this pose right here in the mirror next to the before and after of my photo.
Now, speaking of all this DIY stuff, I wanted to bring Reggie on the show because he said, we've got DIY stuff going on at my house, and there's a problem with it. Break this down, will you?
Every time I leave the house, I mean, even to the store, I come back, and my wife's working on something around the house. I mean, I came back one time from getting gas for the next weekend trip, and she replaced all the doorknobs. I don't know how she did it. I was gone 30 minutes tops.
That is impressive. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's something I strive to do. I would love to do some more DIYs because I don't want to keep spending money hiring someone to do it.
But why is this such a bad thing, man?
Because I'm not handy. So, I mean, when she does it wrong, then here I am fixing it, and then I have to pay someone to fix her fixing it and me fixing hers, and it's just, I don't. Look,
so it's
man,
costing you money every time she gets, like, wild hair up her butt to start fixing stuff.
And time, so I don't really know how to tell her
to just stop,
like relax.
I don't know. I think I blame Pinterest. I blame Instagram because they make us feel so empowered. Like we could just build a mudroom or beautify our laundry room overnight. So does she do it like 90% right, and then the 10% is like, oh no, I gotta help her out with that?
I'll be honest, she's actually really good at it, but that 10% just kind of emasculates me a little bit because I don't know how to fix it if it's wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, she did actually add a mudroom, and it was really good. So I mean, just relax, though.
Man, I appreciate your call. So I guess let's turn this into your situation, Kat. If you get into your California closets and you punch a couple holes in the wall and your screws aren't, completely in the right spot in the studs, and you need help, can you turn to your husband, or then do you have to turn to a professional?
Yes, I would turn to Derek. It's always nice to have 4 eyes on things, okay? But I do believe that they give you more than what you need for projects. I always walk away with like a handful of screws that I'm sure
you're supposed to.
You don't need for your entire project. But I don't know. I'm feeling even more motivated.
Oh, you've got your squad pumping you up this morning, so you're going to be able to really, really get your closet done?
Yeah, I gotta show the people, Lindsay, Valerie, Stephanie, Kayla, I gotta show you guys that your girls got it. I'd love for Kayla to send some pics of all of her hard work. She rebuilt her pantry, ripped out all the carpet, painted the ceilings in the kitchen, dining room, living room, hallway.
You pulled that carpet up by yourself?
Valerie installed a toilet all by herself. That's a big one.
I'm scared of plumbing. I'll do it, but I really don't like. Water is so damaging.
Yeah.
And like I said, the electrical I get, right? You know what I mean? I always equate it to, Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting, where he says, can you play piano? And some people can. Like for me, that's a box with 3 pedals. Like, I don't get any of that.
You equated yourself to a genius.
No.
You're not.
I'm saying that, but that's the way I look at electricity. Like, I get electricity. I get all that. But plumbing, for some reason, water scares the hell out of me. But good luck. And the expected completion date of all this is when?
Not this weekend, but next weekend.
So by the time we get back on the air a week from Monday, you'll be done with all your DIY stuff and have pictures to prove it?
I will. Yes.
Hit me with the free money.
Are you usually this lucky? Like you get everybody else's leftovers or what? Oh, I got to get him on the air. There's Sean. There's Sean. Good Lord. What are you doing, man?
I'm actually driving to work right now.
All right. What do you do for a living?
I'm doing deliveries.
Gotcha. So
how are the roads where you're at? A little wild.
Actually, yesterday they were really bad, but today they're not too shabby.
Okay.
All right. So first things first, you need to say thank you, Kimberly, for hanging up.
Thank you, Kimberly, for hanging up.
And giving me an opportunity to win $3,000. Have you heard this game, Coulda, Shoulda, Woulda? Are you familiar?
I listen every day.
We're grateful for that. So then obviously you thought to yourself, even before you called, if I get through, my name is Sean, and I'm going to play with...
I think today I'll give Kat a whirl.
All right, Kat, you're up.
Most guys say that.
A lot of sailors have said that over the years. So, Sean, I'm going to lock you in. We're going to kick Kat out of the studio. And once she's out in the hallway where she can't hear us anymore, I'm just going to simply give you 5 words. All you have to do is give me the first word that pops into your mind when I say these words. We'll do the same when Kat gets back here. You match them all up, you find yourself $3,000 richer. What do you think's the first thing you're going to spend that kind of money on?
Oh, my gosh. I need some new clothes.
All right, fair enough. New wardrobe for my man, Sean. Let's go. Sean, I just need the first word that pops into your mind when you hear red, R-E-D.
Color.
Sean, what's the first word that pops into your mind when you hear hot?
Old.
Sean, the first word you think of when you hear the word fake.
What was it?
Fake, F-A-K-E.
Real.
Sean, how about the first word that pops into your mind when you hear the word slippery?
Wet.
I can almost guarantee she's going to say nipple. We'll find out. First things first that pops into your head when you hear the word band, B-A-N-D.
Band. Rock.
Okay, cool. That's a good one. I think you're on. All right, come on in. We're going to bring Kat back into the studio. I'm going to cover up my answers so she can't see him as she's walking in. And then we're going to find out whether or not she and you think alike. If so, you find yourself going on a little shopping spree. Sean wants all new clothes with the $3,000 he's going to buy. He's going to win here, Kat. So
I love that for him.
Whether or not he continues to look like a hobo is up to you. Let's go. Sean, best of luck. Your work is done. All you got to do is cross fingers and pray. Kat, what is the first word? And I'm going to go with the ones that I think you're going to match.
Please
all right?
do.
There are 2 or 3 here that I think are almost slam dunks. A couple of them are on that 50-50 spot. So let's start with what I think is the easiest today, Kat. What's the first word that pops into your mind when you hear the word hot?
If he listens every day, he knows I'm going to say cold. Okay. Good job.
Let's go, Sean.
Hobo City in your rearview mirror. Hopefully.
I love this guy's laugh. Kat, what's the first word that pops into your mind when you hear the word fake?
Fake. Oh, man. I could say fake smile, fake. If he's going to go opposite, real. Oh, my God. Okay.
Let's go.
I got to just trust my
Let's
instinct.
go, Sean. For $3,000. Kat, what's the first word that pops into your mind when you hear the word red, R-E-D?
Red. Light.
The dream is over, Sean.
Oh, what did he say?
He said color.
Red color. Okay.
I think you were spot on with that. I would have said light, the same, because I think red light all the time.
I think red light therapy. I do that all the time.
Also popped into my mind, but Sean went with color. The other two that we didn't get to, slippery.
Wet. Oh, my God, Sean. Color, really? This is on you. This plays on you.
And the last one, what is the first word, Kat, that pops into your mind when you hear the word band?
Band. Music. What did he say?
Close.
He said rock.
Rock band.
Rock band.
All right.
Hey, Sean, valiant effort, man. I think you were pretty dialed in. This was all right.
When is it appropriate to take kids on vacation? And I'm like, one of our biggest rules, like with Derek and I, like one thing that we came to agreement on was like, until Liam can use the bathroom by himself, we are not going to take him on vacations. That's a lot of effort to sit there and haul everything that a baby would need to bring them on vacation. But one of the things was that the unpopular opinion is that you are not allowing your children to explore the world, which they have every right to as well. And I'm like,
well, they have every right to when they start paying for it too.
Well, I would say, like, if I am going to go on a tropical vacation, the last thing I want to do is make sure that my kid isn't being eaten by a shark in the ocean. Like, I want to be there and relax.
Maybe watch your kid.
There are vacations that you can take your kids on that are appropriate. But I do not think that your kid is missing out on going somewhere until they're a little bit older to be able to appreciate it.
I don't mind the road trip.
Right.
But if you're going to fly overseas, then they're just little kids. They're really not going to remember anything. I mean, when do you start kind of making those memories? Is that like 5 or 6?
I guess so, if you want to do like Disney. But one of the quotes was, your kid deserves to see the world too. And it's like, I want you to ask, if you took that kid to the Eiffel Tower when they were 2, how they enjoyed it. I want you to ask them.
I feel like I was pretty well adjusted, and my parents never took me abroad.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Call right now with your opinion on this, because maybe you did think, I want to take my kid on all these vacations, give them all of the chances to see the world that maybe you didn't get to see. And did it work out in your favor? They talk about how great it was when they were 3 and you took them to Vietnam.
I would have never expected my parents to. Like, I went to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I don't remember anything great about that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, you're a little kid. What you think as an adult is worth paying thousands to see is not even close to what kids care about.
Quite certain if we called Liam right now, 2 out of the 3 very expensive Florida trips we took, he would not remember. And that makes me so sad.
I would be curious, anyone that's went like overseas with a 3 and a 4-year-old, how that went. Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Hi. What's your thought on this whole thing? Do you think that kids should be taken on every trip that an adult takes?
I feel that kids should be able to remember what they're doing. So, like, maybe when they're like 7, 8, something, when they can actually choose to say, yeah, I want to go, and then they get to actually remember it.
Yeah. Because how sad does that make you as a mom to know how much money you're going to spend on this? And it is about the money for me. It's like, I'd rather save up money to take them on a really cool trip when they're older.
To like Iowa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Missouri. Right. The Crooked Letter.
Maybe South Dakota.
That's the best place in the world.